Welcome back to the Xelik Podcast. My name is Noah. I'm here with my business partner Zane, and we are going to talk to you about three different topics today. Number one, supplements. Number two, travel, and number three, hormones. All
Mm.
things that are important for your fitness. Um, to start out, Zane, I'm going to ask you the question: if you are going to take a supplement of any kind, what supplement are you taking?
If I could only take one supplement, what would I take?
Correct.
If I could only take one supplement, what I would take would be creatine. Because everything else I think you can get in adequately throughout your diet, but creatine just is not found in high enough doses in meat. Like you would have to eat a ton of meat to get the levels of creatine that are found in supplements. When it comes to vitamins, minerals, protein, things like that, you can get all of that from food, is what I think. But creatine's also the one supplement that I would recommend that everybody takes. It's good for cognitive health, good for the health of your tissues, great for strength in the gym, ATP synthesis. It literally makes your muscles bigger. It forces more water into your muscles. So creatine is starting to become properly rated. I would say that there's a lot of rave about creatine now, but I think it's still underrated.
Yeah, I agree. I think creatine is definitely the biggest one. My top three for all my clients that I prescribe in terms of supplements: number one, creatine, obviously for every point you just mentioned. Number two, multivitamin of some sort in case you're deficient in anything, you're not getting enough sun, or you have bad iron and you're iron deficient, you're tired. And then number three, just protein, because if you're not getting it throughout your regular diet, I think you should be ideally, but if you can't, you need to supplement that, and that's probably the third best in my opinion.
For sure, I agree. Yeah, it's really hard to. I was debating heavily whether it be creatine or a multivitamin because you just have to eat so many servings of different colors of fruits and vegetables, and then um, healthy fats and then protein to be able to get. But if we had to do that, we could. It's just, is that feasible on a daily basis with our work schedule and how much we cook? Probably not. Um, but if I had a private chef, that's what I would just take creatine and get everything from Whole Foods.
So Annie's been cooking for me, and so I've been getting probably triple the amount of vegetables I regularly would in the past. And so my digestion's been way better, my stool's been way better, I feel way better, and it's all literally just because of what you said, the micronutrients. It makes the fiber, the micronutrients, it all makes actually a world of a difference.
100%. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but there was a study done that says that for every 10 grams of fiber that you intake, it decreases all common causes of mortality by 10%. So like you eat 30 grams of fiber every single day and it decreases the most common causes of mortality by 30%. Crazy.
Digestion is just as important as quality of food and exercise, in my opinion.
100%. Yeah. Glad to hear that Andy's helping you hit your fiber goal.
She is. She's
Shout
very
out.
helpful.
On the note of supplements, what supplements do you take and what supplements do you recommend your clients take and why?
Um, my daily must-take supplements are what we talked about, creatine and a daily multivitamin. Creatine for all the benefits like cognition and muscle building in general, and then multivitamin for any underlying uh, imbalances or any
Efficiency.
deficiencies. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Any deficiencies around vitamin D, iron, all that good stuff. Um, I take those daily as best as I can. And the ones I recommend to my clients, I mean, it depends on your goals. We have different bundles on our website. If you want to check it out, xelik.com/partners. Um,
Almost plug.
we, yeah, shameless plug. The supplement company that we partner with, we have bundles through. So there's like a bulking bundle, there's a strength bundle, there's a energy bundle, there's a sleep bundle to help with your sleep. So depending on what you're trying to do, these are all things that you can leverage to help. It's not going to be the solution to the root cause. Obviously, it's usually lifestyle based and whatnot. But the one that I recommend most to all my client, the supplement bundle that I recommend to all my clients is the strength bundle because everybody should be trying to build muscle, and so that's the muscle and strength bundle, and it's protein, creatine. I think there's some amino acids in there, and then also multivitamin. So exactly what we've talked about. Those are the core supplements that you should be taking regardless of what your goals are because at the end of the day, America's under muscled and everybody can use some more muscle.
100%.
Yeah.
Make America jacked again.
Make America jacked again. Go RFK. My next question for you, Zane. What's the best place to travel if you like fitness?
Best place to travel if you like fitness. I would say two. Number one, I've always wanted to go to Tulum. I have not been, but the jungle gym there looks sick. And I think that having a cool gym setup like that would make going to the gym that much more enjoyable. I'm sure too, if you lift at the jungle gym every day, I mean, maybe it's cool forever, but for sure, going on a vacation somewhere for an extended period of time, it's great to have access to just a cool gym. And I think that a gym is such a nice gym is such a great investment because if you go to a crappy gym that you just don't enjoy being at, then fitness is already inherently hard and we don't need another barrier to get in the gym. Like, for example, when we went to Lifetime in Tempe, I loved going there because I just looked forward to being there. You know, it was so nice. It just made me feel good being there. It smelled good. The equipment was really nice. You know, there's affluent people around you. But on the note of traveling somewhere, Tulum Jungle Gym for sure. And then I think in general, like where I would want to be for an extended period of time, if I wanted the culture to be conducive to my fitness and nutrition goals, anywhere in Europe. I mean, the quality of it. I actually have a client who, and I haven't done too much research into this, but she can only eat pasta that's imported from Italy. Any pasta that she buys at a grocery store here, and maybe if she went to like Sprouts or Whole Foods or something, maybe it would be different. But she literally imports pasta from Italy because it is the only one that doesn't upset her stomach, which is crazy. Um, but in general, when people go to Europe, I mean, you just naturally you walk a lot, and the quality of their food is decent, and it's hilarious too because everybody, like in Italy, for example, people drink wine like every single day, and they're just productive and they feel good because there's sulfites, phosphates, etc. in our wine here that just make you feel terrible. And then, I mean, I've heard clients talk about that. They go to Europe and they drink every single day and somehow they feel good. So if I wanted to be in a place that's conducive to my health and fitness goals, I would say Italy or just Europe in general.
Yeah, Europe's way better for dietary reasons. I think it's the glyphosate and like the chemicals that go into our processing of our food, specifically like
Mm.
pasta and glutens and whatnot. There's a lot of research going into that. Like if you follow the RFK train, he's kind of cracking down on a lot of breads in America that have like a lot high amounts of glyphosate in it.
Mhm.
And that's just like a hormone disrupting chemical, which is not good for you. And so it helps if you go overseas because they have much stricter regulations. It's guilty until proven innocent, as opposed to here it's innocent until proven guilty. So you can put any product on the market and you're fine until somebody can build up a big enough lawsuit to sue you. And in Europe, it's the opposite, where you need to prove that you are not that you've tested this and it has no harmful effects in order to get on market. So it sucks for innovation, but it helps for the one area where I think capitalism fails the most is in the food industry, and that's where we've seen a lot of defects, and that's why we're in business because so many people are out of shape because of it. But um, if I had to pick a
Mhm.
place, I guess I agree with like somewhere tropical, but I mean it's a pretty broad stroke. But I would say anywhere warm. I mean, you go to Hawaii, you go to California, we're in Arizona, like being outside and just having the ability to go hike on a random given day and just like go for a walk, it doubles the um, incentive and the likelihood that you are to be active. You know, it's freezing cold in Nebraska and snowing, and you know you're getting you're walking outside in a couple inches of snow and it's negative weather with a wind chill. Like you don't want to go outside, you don't want to walk. Going to the gym is a hassle. You have to travel all the way there, so it's another barrier to entry, as you mentioned. So just being somewhere that's warm makes a hell of a difference. Makes you a lot more active. So that incentive's there. But if I had to pick a place, um, there's a gym in Dallas that I want to go to. I think it's called like Joe Barry's or something like that. I totally butchered the name on that, but it's like a fancy aesthetic influencer type gym. I have no idea what it's called, but
I
um,
know what it's called. Let me look it up real quick.
yeah, they have one in Dallas and they have one in somewhere else in Texas. But it's like it's literally built for aesthetics, and it looks like uh, aristocratic like Renaissance gym. It's really cool. I'd love to live there if I could, travel for that. But I do agree with your point. Overseas for
John Reed.
John Reed, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sweet gym. Never been there, but I would love to go there. So, John Reed, if you see this, give me an invite, dog.
Shout out. Come on. Hop on the pod.
Yeah.
I,
um,
I agree though. Like my my clients' average steps that live in northern states, like in the fall and in the summer, as opposed to the winter, insane. Like we had to regiment out. I had to have them get walking pads and or like add 25 minutes on the back end of their lift, just walking on a treadmill because their steps were so low because they're just naturally not going to the park, not taking a stroll around the block, whatever. Even even little things like you want to park closer to the grocery store when it's freezing out, and sometimes in Arizona I'll just park far away because I'm like I haven't gotten enough steps in, and then I'll just take the long way, through the doors of the grocery store. But I'm definitely not doing that in Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah, you almost build in more. You build in what's the word I'm looking for? You build in um, damn. We were just talking about barriers to entry. You almost intentional. You build in intentional barriers to entry almost when it comes to fitness that are beneficial to you when the consequence isn't that severe. Like to your point of walking, your barrier to entry to walk is like I got to get inside right now. It's freezing cold, but there's an incentive or an intentional barrier to entry that you create for yourself because it's like it's not going to be that bad. Like, weather's nice. I might as well walk a little farther.
100%. Yeah. I actually just thought of a question that I want to ask you, but I'll ask the other question that I planned on and that I told you about. But I do have a question for you after that. So, what what are your thoughts around hormones and the average American? Do you think that we have hormone imbalances, and why?
Yeah, I definitely think I definitely think Americans specifically have hormone imbalances. You see this in our testosterone levels. Like testosterone replacement has spiked immensely. The average testosterone level has like dropped in men specifically over the last like 10 to 20 years. Our grip strength is like, which is a um, telltale sign of strength, a correlate of strength has dropped immensely. Like the average grip strength of somebody in their 20s or 30s is like less than that of somebody who's in their 60s from a previous generation. It's ridiculous how much our hormones have an impact and how much of a benefit they can have. It just sucks that it has to come through some form of synthetic therapy now because one, it costs something when it used to be natural and free. And now, two, I think I mean, it sounds conspiratorial to talk about this, but I kind of mentioned it earlier. Like all the things that we put in our body, like that capitalism has destroyed. I'm a big fan of capitalism. Don't get me wrong. I love capitalism. But the one thing that it gets wrong is food and like um, consumer product goods because you're incentivized to cut corners, to find the cheapest product, to market the hell out of it so that you tell white lies here and there, and you're not transparent about like the benefit of stuff. It's true that the more beneficial products and ingredients typically cost more, and so you cut corners in that sense. And then if you want to mass produce, mass scale, and really grow to something big and make a huge company, you need to do things on a mass scale, which requires like not a lot of in depth uh,
Quality control.
yeah, quality control, like understanding like operations around your products and make sure that like you do your due diligence. Like people mess up every now and then. And then on top of that, I mean, going back to like glyphosate and stuff, like there's ways to scale and do things in mass that make more sense economically that come at the expense of your health. Like plastics and pesticides and preservatives and like all these things that we incorporate into our foods that we sell that have super long shelf lives and are the cheapest possible price that we possibly can because it's super competitive in the market. It creates these foods and these harmful materials that we put into our body that I think over time just adds up. And so, to answer your question in a roundabout way, I think like the main contributors are things like glyphosate, pesticides, hormone disrupting chemicals like that, endocrine disrupting chemicals, um, plastics, which is super convenient, super easy. Everybody puts everything in plastic because it ships better and it's way easier to move and hold things in plastic. But it's everyone talks about microplastics. We're well aware of it. So I think those like corner cutting, non-regulated areas where the incentive is not aligned is coming at the expense of our health. That's why I'm a big RFK fan. He's actually like blowing this up and saying like this is our problem. We need to be better about eating whole foods. We need to stop eating plastics. We need to get rid of seed oils. We need to stop consuming glyphosate and other hormone disrupting chemicals. Those are like that's my theory behind it. I'm definitely in a algorithm loophole or like a bias side of social media and my content that I receive, but it all makes sense and I see it in my clients too, especially like in my personal life when I um, remove some of these things. I feel much better. I see it in my aesthetic. I see it in my cognition. Like it just helps to get rid of some of these things.
100% agree. I just went through with one of my clients and removed every single thing that he used on on a regular basis that was plastic. So like underwear to because he was actually getting really bad migraines, and so we removed all artificial fragrances from his products. And then I was like, well, while you're at it, you might as well get boxers and whatever else, but like fragrance free soap, fragrance free lotion, fragrance free laundry detergent. And we went through and just did a giant overall haul, and he hasn't had a migraine since. I mean, I that's like we're controlling that variable. Could it be something else? Yeah, I mean, will he still get a migraine? I don't know, but controlling as much as you can control and kind of running an experiment that way. um but for sure, for hormones, I mean, our average testosterone is like the lowest that it's been in history. So got to be something with capitalism of consumable products.
Yeah, I think it's something that's become so normalized and so much part of our lives that we don't think the impact on it and that it can't be that bad. But the fact that it's so ingrained into our lives, it makes it all that much more difficult to get rid of. So like to your point, I challenge anybody, go your entire day without touching anything that either came from or is in or is directly plastic. You can't brush your teeth. You can't eat any vegetables or fruits or anything that comes in plastic. Can't eat any meat that's in plastic. Like everything is packaged in some form of plastic. It's almost impossible. And so you start looking at every aspect of your life and like how big of a change it would take to get all that stuff out of your life and start eating differently. Get rid of all these the scents in your house, the cookware, like everything that's harmful for your hormones. It's literally everything in your house. You almost have to like completely replenish your entire house. There's people that are literally making protocols and livings and products based off of this because people are starting to wake up to it and they're realizing, holy cow, my entire house, my entire environment is just covered in these like hormone disrupting products, and I need to make a change about it. And it's literally everything.
Yep, 100% agree. So my last question for you, Noah, as a fitness and nutrition coach, how are you making sure to maintain healthy habits on my bachelor trip next week?
Well, I'm gonna try my best to record some content on like traveling. A couple of things that I'm gonna kind of talk about and that I'm gonna try to incorporate. Number one, when I travel, I try to fast. Specifically like airports and whatnot. It's a good opportunity to fast for the most part. It helps your body go into ketosis, so you're more alert, more aware. It helps me prevent jet lag, so that's one thing that I do. Prioritizing sleep, that's something that nobody does. I guarantee we're not going to get good sleep for the part, but putting myself in a position where I'm not already tired going to it, and I have like a good sleep pattern. Um, Prioritizing protein in my food, that's really important. Doing anything outside in the sun, even if it's just like any form of muscle maintenance, like band exercises, body weight exercises. Muscle is extremely hard to develop, but it's extremely easy to maintain. And so all you need to do is send some form of muscle building signal. But where people go wrong is when they're traveling, they don't do any exercise. Like, oh, I'm on vacation, I'm just gonna not exercise at all. Or I'm like traveling for work and exercise is the last thing I want to do. When in reality, if you just did 20 to 30 minutes every morning, so I'm going to do a morning exercise of bands or some sort of body weight stuff just to send a muscle building signal to my body where essentially it's just a reminder of, hey, don't lose this. We still need this. We don't need it super extreme. We don't need to build more of it. Just don't let it go away because we still need it to some extent. So I'd say sleep, fasting for diet and whatnot, and then just prioritizing protein. And then in terms of activity, just muscle building signal as best as possible. Those are three things I focus on.
Yeah. If we get a 20-minute workout in the morning, that negates the amount of beer that we drink, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's also important to be intentional about your calories. Like if you're really trying to get into the nitty gritty, like if you're gonna be drinking a lot, those aren't just, 0 calorie drinks. You're gonna be consuming liquid calories. So I'm not saying starve yourself and don't eat if you're gonna go party and whatnot, but factor those calories into your diet and like eat accordingly, which is all the more reason that you should be eating more protein because if you're now getting a majority of your calories from liquids and alcohol, then the remainder calories that you need to eat for the day to either be at your maintenance or hit a minor surplus or not go way too over your calories, then the majority of it needs to come from protein. And so you're almost eating like a carnivore based or like a protein only diet because at the end of the day, that's like where all your calories should come from. Everything else, all the carbs, everything else is going to come from anything boozing that you're doing, any liquid calories that you consume, and all the good eats that you're going to eat if you go out to dinner or anything like that.
Yep. Tacos and light cervezas.
Sí, mucho.
Mucho.
That and a private chef definitely helps.
100%. Yeah, I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, super excited for us to be extremely healthy next week.
Yeah, me too. Me as well. Well, thank you guys for listening in. This has been episode Don't Even Know of the Xelik Podcast, and stay tuned for more.